Hi friends, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. And as you can see in the title and my laptop right here, we are doing another dramatic fanfiction recommendation. Today's trope or topic are going to be memory story in the dramatic fanfiction. The memory trope has always been one of my favorite tropes to read when it comes to dramatic, and when I was requested by one of you guys, one of my online friends here on YouTube, to make a video recommending memory story, I immediately jumped the gun and trying to get this list out here for you guys. There are two reasons why I absolutely love the memory details or the whole trope when it comes to dramatic fanfiction. First reason is that I am a very sentimental person, and I feel like you cannot really talk about sentimental things without talking about memory. And secondly, I feel like in the whole Harry Potter fandom, memory has always been such a big thing. We know Dumbledore's memory, we know Snape's memory, we know that Harry's live in the memory of his mom and his dad. We know that in order to cast a Patronus, you have to think about your happiest memory. And so I feel like it's very appropriate and fitting for our dramatic author to kind of incorporate that dramatic detail or even make the whole storyline about the memory. And so, welcome to your 10 recommendation for memory dramatic fanfiction. Of course, we're gonna start out with 13/9 by Nelfa. Apart from the Dragon Bride, I think that 13/9 is my absolute number one when it comes to dramatic fanfiction. I don't think any story has ever done, and nor there will be any story that will have an impact on me the way that 13/9 by Nelfa did. So I feel like 13/9 will always be ranked so highly in my list and always have a special place in my heart. In this story, we have the Order of Phoenix running an experiment on the individuals that have ties to the Death Eater. They give these individuals some false memory about living as a Muggle. And so in this story, we see some memory charm Draco navigating through the Muggle war. And of course, his K-worker, the one who is monitoring, controlling him, is no other than our Hermione. Do you know that feeling when you're reading a story and you feel like your heart is cracking up? 13/9 is the first dramatic story that ever done that to me. I absolutely love everything about this fic. If the premise doesn't loop you into the story, the writing, the character development, the details in here are absolutely golden. You don't have to worry about the plot line, the writing, because you will go through a roller coaster of emotion with this story. And the Draco in here is probably my favorite Draco of all time. He is super snarky, but at the same time, he is so determined, observant, and boyfriend material as well. And on the other hand, we have Hermione, who is a badass motherfucker. She go out there and she goes after whatever she wants. And so if that is your thing, I feel like this story is going to be perfect for you. This is a story that made me laugh out loud and almost cry my eyeball out, and I go through like 7 hells of emotions with this story. And so you have to promise me that you got to read this story. Promise me if you ever skip anything else that I recommend in this video, you must read 13/9 by Nelfa. Next, you already know I got Out Mine by Galfoy. Galfoy is my absolutely favorite author when it comes to the dramatic fandom ever, so I went on a marathon, and I think that Out of Mine is among my favorite story of Galfoy, and it is among my favorite one-shot of all time. This has some decorums on it, okay? This is a story where I will not give you a description, I will not give you a summary, because you have to go into it cold turkey. The only thing that you need to know is I rate this 1,000 stars out of 5, and that is the only reassurance that you need. This story will also take you through a roller coaster of emotions, so please go ahead and just read it. Ignore everything else that everyone has said about it. Just go into this not knowing anything and come back and tell me how you feel, okay? It's raining outside, so you guys will probably hear the rain, but oh my god, it's screaming outside, you guys. Next, we have a story that I have butchered the name as many times as I have recommended on this channel. So Love Biscuit A, please take it as my formal apology for butchering your title so many times on this channel. But we have Familiar Faces, Worn Out Places by Love Biscuit A, and I think that this is probably the best dramatic one-shots when it comes to our fandom. It is so well loved and so well recommended, and you guys already know that it's not without any reason. In this story, we have an Aura Hermione losing her memory after an accident at work. She loses so much of her memory that she doesn't remember who Harry is, who Ron is. She doesn't remember anything about the magical world at all. So we have incoming the best mind healer in the wizarding world, Draco Malfoy, trying to help her through that sticky situation. In this story, we have a legitimate Draco, so if that is your thing, you must read this story. I feel like there will be no other word fitting to describe this story other than it is being a masterpiece. And everything about the story, you don't have to worry about it. The writing, the premise, the character development, everything is just perfect. Draco is a man of many words in here. He doesn't say anything, but he does everything. And on the other hand, we have a very shameless Hermione, you know, going after what she wants as well. I think this is among the most beautifully written one-shots in the dramione fandom ever. So if you want to read that, you know, poetic, lyrical type of one-shot, this is perfect for you. Next, we have a short-term memory loss for you guys, and that is Fragment and Fisher by Scully Murphy. In this story, we have an author, Draco, losing his memory temporarily because of an accident at work, and while he doesn't have any memory of the Wizarding War and whatsoever, he was placed under the care of somebody we know, and of course there was some kind of spark, and after he regained his memory, he was determined to find the lost fragments and fissures of his mind. And so we get to see the story unfold from that point of view. I'm not sure if it makes sense to describe a story as being tender, but this story is so damn tender. And if you have watched my previous video, I've already shared with you guys that I'm such a scent person. I'm a very perfumey cologne type of girl, and so if that is also your thing, please go ahead and read this story. I don't really want to spoil it for you guys, but this one is just a combination of everything that I love, and so I am of course in love with this story and recommending it to you guys. Next, we have From the Ashes by Damn Struppling Woman, and this is a wartime Voldemort's Win alternative universe story where Hermione is taken captive by no one other than the head Death Eater Draco Malfoy. But while she was being held as his prisoner, sometimes she sees this Draco as the head Death Eater being ruthless, killing without, you know, the blink of an eye. But sometimes she sees this kind of lover boy Draco in some kind of distant memory that she doesn't remember anymore, and so she's also determined to find that lost fragments of her mind as well. So as Hermione kind of discovered the lost part of her mind, we also kind of discover a lost love between our two lovebirds as well. If you have read Manacled and you love the concept of Draco suffering because he is the one who remembers, you will also fall in love with this story as well, because my boy suffer. And secondly, if you are like me and you love to do the digging when you read Hermione's story, I feel like this story is going to be perfect for you, because all the details, all the softness, even though the connection run real deep in here, everything is barely visible, and you have to do that heavy lifting for yourself as a reader, and that is something that I love to do. And so if that's your thing, this is going to be perfect for you as well. But if you're on the other hand and you love to read story where love is displayed in capital letter for you guys, this story is not it. But overall, I think that this is such a beautiful read, and so if you are into everything that I have just shared with you, please go ahead and give this a go as well. Next, we have a kind of very short-term memory loss story that I'm not sure if it fits in here, but I want to recommend it more. And so we have Beer, Potions, and Unwise Notion by H19. This is a post-war story where they are co-worker at the Ministry of Magic, and Hermione was dosed with a babbling potions also accidentally at work as well, and so she spilled her guts to no other than her crush, Draco Malfoy. I feel like this story is meant to crack you up. This is kind of like a crack story, but for some reason it also hurt me so bad at some point. I think it also hit very close to home on Hermione being insecure with her appearance and everything, and being a girl. I feel like that is very relatable, and I feel like that's kind of probably emphasized the angst that I was feeling in this story. But you already know H19 and Remain Nameless. If you have a good time with Remain Nameless and any other work by H19, you also have a good time with this story as well, because her writing and the details that she capitalized on Hermione is just perfect. She's probably one of the pilot when it comes to the Hermione fandom, so you really don't have to worry about anything at all with her story. Just go ahead and read this story, and I'm assure you that you will have a very good time. Next, we have a story that I both love and hate, and that is Each Day Anew by Nifazol. This is a story where every time that Hermione goes to sleep, she doesn't remember anything that happened before she went to sleep. I was on a Nifazol marathon, and I just go ahead and read any story that was published by this author, and I ignore all the tag, and that's why I get myself into this situation. This is an angsty story, and usually it's not my cup of tea, but I love this story because it shows how much they love each other, and it shows how much Hermione means to Draco. I feel like it's also one of the stories that you must read once, because it leaves such an impact on you, and it makes you think about it for a long time after you finish reading it, and so I feel like it deserves to be recommended more and more. Next, we have a kind of controversial recommendation, and that is Erase and Rewrite by Volfas Totem. I think that's how you pronounce the author name, but if I have butchered your name, my apologies. The controversial part about this story is that it has a lot of spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. So unless you can get over that very big obstacle, you won't be able to enjoy this story. And I know that we are reading fan fictions, and these stories that we have are just gifts to us by the authors for free. And so I don't really want to emphasize on, like, you know, spelling errors and mistakes, but it is very repeated in this story. And I know that that is a very big pet peeve for some of the readers. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there for you guys before you start this story. But in this story, we have Draco's rescuing Hermione from the Malfoy Manor scene, and I was on a marathon specifically for that trope when I was running into this story. But this story is written in the verse novel format, so it's kind of like a poem, and I feel like the format of the poem kind of just emphasized everything that this story have on me. And so for some reason, even though there's really nothing extremely unique or extremely good about this story, I fell in love with it so badly. I just feel like the love that they share with each other in this story is just so pure and so tender that even though I also had to get over the spelling mistake type of thing, I was willing to do it to get through the story. And I also wanted to reread the story at the end, and I don't really know why, but this story is such a simple story, has such an impact on me that I cannot really explain. So please go ahead and check this out, and please remember that you will run into a lot of errors when you were reading this story. Next, we have a very unique story, and that is Memento Mori by J.D. Phoenix. I'm gonna go ahead and read the summary to you guys because I don't think I can summarize this story better than the author. And so it reads: after a battle, Hermione wakes with no memory of who she is. Now she tries to piece her life back together while getting revenge on the people who did this to her. The Order of Phoenix. So in this story, we of course have an obliviated Hermione waking up with the Death Eater and thinking that everything that has happened to her was because of the Order of Phoenix, and now she is seeking revenge. Just such a unique premise that I cannot find easily in any other fanfiction. This story is gonna be perfect for when you want to read a wartime story but you don't really want to reread, you know, the repeated trope anymore. One thing that I absolutely love about this story is Draco character developments, and I cannot spoil it for you guys, but if you guys want to go ahead and read this story, and maybe you can tell me if you agree with me at the end. And if you are like me and you are also into the feeling of being hurt from the beginning to the very end when they get to be happy together, this is the story for you. Last but very much not least, I kind of feel bad for putting it as my number 10 recommendation, but I feel like we cannot not talk about memory trope if we don't talk about Way and Hope by Maybe Writing. In this story, we have a post-war story with a married couple, Draco and Hermione. But Hermione lost the last 7 years of her memory, so she doesn't remember anything about being a Granger Malfoy at all. So Draco and Hermione must work together in order to find that lost memory for Hermione, and at the same time trying to re-fall in love with each other. And we already know, because we are into that type of angst, the journey is not going to be easy on them and on us. The reason why I put this as the number 10 spot is because this is one of the bigger pieces of work that I don't really feel strongly about. But regardless of my feeling and my emotions or my feedback whatsoever on a story, these stories are pillars when it comes to the Hermione fandom. We have Manacled, we have the Right and Wrong series, we have Remain Nameless, and then we must talk about Way and Hope. I know that this is a fan favorite for many people, but I didn't really just feel strongly about it as I was, you know, the other story. You already know I have the same feeling about the Right and Wrong series as well, but I don't want to take away a perfectly well loved and well recommended story from you guys. But please go ahead and give it a go if that is your cup of tea, and please tell me if I should give this another try anytime soon. And that is the end of our recommendation on the memory trope. Please let me know if you have read any of the story here and how you feel about them. I hope that I have added some new reads onto your TBR, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.